whenever this bloke comes out for a fight, half the girls faint in the audience, and just quietly, a few of the blokes do too. Yeah, but what we're going to work... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world premiere of the Sledgehammer Fight Show. My name is Jimmy Shannon. I'm at the beautiful Gold Coast in sunny Queensland. As a matter of fact, we're outside the 10-time world champion, John Wayne Parr's Boon Shoe Gym. John Wayne's going to be kind enough to have a few words with us very shortly. We have an action-packed show today with guests including Ian Bronson and Reese Lightning. And today, we're going to give you American and interstate viewers something you've never seen before, and it's tag team kickboxing. As well as that, we have a technique workshop with the lovely Natalia. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, on the left-hand side we have the pleasure of the company of the 10-time world champion, John Wayne Parr. John, thanks for coming out today. I know you've been really busy, so we appreciate you taking your time out. It's a pretty flash-looking gym you got here. Everything's going great?
Yeah, we've been here since 2006. Yeah, it's been really cool. I've opened the gym in '99, and then we've moved to different locations, but this one's definitely been our best one. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's in a good location near the beach. And everyone's really family orientated, lots of family, so it's good.
John, you're only a week and a half removed from your big fight in the cage Muay Thai. You had another win, you're fighting really well late, as per usual.
Yeah. I fought Johan Linden from France, very tough competitor. He'd had 125 fights, he's had KO ratio, I think he's had 65 knockouts. He's 8-time world champion and a superstar in Europe, so there's not very often that they get the European champions coming this way because it's very expensive. Yeah, it was good to have him out here in Australia, and he put up one hell of a fight. I'm lucky to get the win. So,
with the cage Muay Thai, how's the fighters' reactions to it now?
Yes, really. Worldwide, it's gone crazy. I'm getting emails from people from all over the place wanting to jump on board and jump on the show and fight in the cage, because the UFC and MMA is so big, and then there's no opportunities for us to get in this environment with the cage and the small gloves. So I've opened the door there, and then since we've done the 4 shows, this email's just gone nuts. So this next show on December, I'm going to bring out Liam Harrison and Andy Howson from England, hopefully they're going to bring in the Barmy Army with them, and I think we're going to do very well on the worldwide scene, because just having those 2 guys on the show has just lifted the profile of the brand, and plus they're going to have really tough fights. I have Minnie T, Daniel from Perth, and also I have Taylor Harvey, he's going to be fighting Liam, so hard fights for the Australians, but if we pull it off, it's really going to put us on the map.
Well, you've sort of really taken over when men like Steve Vick and Ian Jacobs, Stand the Man, sort of started for us all back in the day when you and me were even young blokes. But you've really sort of taken that over now.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. Just started out as a young guy, and then just had that dream of one day hopefully being famous, and then hopefully making a living from the sport.
You've managed that all right.
Yeah, and so far it's been pretty cool. I've sort of kicked a few goals along the way, and lots of good memories.
Moves forward, Parr bombing, and down goes Marco PK. Big time with those little gloves. Uppercut, overhand right. Wayne Parr on a rampage in the 4th round.
A lot of guys who John will also know that he won an Australian professional title in the boxing game too, because you and Hurricane Briggs were tearing it up there at one stage. I know you gave me a fair touch up one night at the Gold Coast, which wasn't a nice thing for you to do either.
I sort of seen Paul Briggs kicking some goals in the boxing, and thought I'd give this a crack. So I gave the kickboxing away, put the anklets away, put the boxing boots on, and then had 13 pro fights, 10 wins, 10 knockouts. Jimmy, you were my first boxing fight. I remember the first round I couldn't hit you. You were so evasive and had all the boxing head movements. Like, what's going on?
Oh, mate, if you'd run away from as many blokes as I had, you'd be quick too. Don't worry about that. Yeah, well, you're fighting Toby Smith, and that's going to be the Australian Fight of the Year, I reckon. There's a lot of hype about it. That's going to be in Melbourne, I believe.
June 21. I'm enjoying the show down in Melbourne. It's getting momentum. A lot of people are for and against. Toby's young. I think he's only 19 years of age. He's done a lot of things in Thailand, like I did, very similar when I was his age.
Yeah, that's right.
He's doing it the right way. He's living in Bangkok. He's fighting the best Thais. He's not taking any shortcuts. He's training out of Pech Bin Chu, which is a well-renowned gym in Bangkok. Probably one of the best gyms you could ask for. So it's going to be tough. He brings a different style that I'm usually used to normally fighting. He's got a very strong clinch game and good with his elbows. But at the same time, I've had a lot of fights against good quality opponents, and I'm not going to be afraid to step in the ring and face the young lion.
The saying is, John, all older fighters have one great fight left in them. John, you've probably got a hell of a lot more than one, but I think on June 21st, Toby Smith will be finding that out.
I'm just going to train hard and do what I do, and then fingers crossed I can. I don't want to sound like I'm a child beater-upper, but yeah, the plan is to punch him in the face and knock him out, so that's what I plan to do.
Well, the simple plans are the best ones, John. Once again, thanks very much for helping out today.
This program's brought to you by Outfox, with hundreds of free channels covering sports, entertainment, news and more. All at outfox.tv.
Introduce Mr. Ian Bronson, who on March the 15th will be promoting Rumble at the Ridge. To his left once again is Reese Lightning. Ian, we'll talk to you first. You come back to the Acacia Ridge Hotel after 4-year hiatus with Rumble at the Ridge. How's the show looking for the 15th?
Yeah, mate, it's looking really good. I've had a big influx of fighters wanting to fight on it, hence starting time, having to start an hour earlier. We're going to have about 7 or 8 padded fights to kick off the night, then probably about another 10 or so undercard fights, and then we'll get into the 5-rounders from there.
Good. Who have we got for the main event?
Main event is a corporate box fighter, Curtis Pagero, and he's fighting Nick Rundle, who lives in Tasmania, formerly of the Bunchu Gym. He'll still be fighting on the Bunchu Gym for this show.
It's going to be a great matchup.
Cracker.
Okay, semi-finals, Hammer once again, 3 3-minute rounds, modified time.
Just watching a bit of footage at the background of a Super 8 tournament that you put on.
Yes.
And we've got Toby Smith and Wes Capper there. It was a great night.
Yes.
And what I believe, Toby won that night, and he's going to be fighting John Wayne Parr later this year.
Yes, mate. Yeah, the Super 8, I believe, pushed him forward in his career. At that time, most of the fighters I had on the Super 8 were level pegging, and everyone was kind of wondering who was the best new up and comer in Australia. And I guess Toby 8 won the 8-man, which made that happen. And I guess now he's been winning quite a few good fights in Thailand since then, and he deserves a shot, and Wayne Parr, being the true champion that he is giving him the shot too. So, really look forward to watching that.
Yeah, so am I. And you're right about Toby, he did come of age that night.
And the winner of our Super 8-man Eliminator and the $10,000 check from the blue corner, Toby the Weapon Smith.
Speaking of 8-man competitions, Ian, on June the 7th we have another one coming up.
Yes, correct. It's a 66 kilo cut-off, and it's $10,000 first prize money. And Reese Lightning is in that one, and so I guess Reese is better off telling you who's in it, because he's going to be having to face him.
Yeah, we've got some big names in it. You got boys like Benny Mahoney, Benai Duma, Yoshi, who just won a world title, Jakey Molden, fighting out of corporate box. Yeah, there's some big names in it. It's going to be a big night ahead, and keep your hands up, is all I can say.
Now what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is go to the gym segment with the Rated R superstar, Natalia. And once again, it's technique workshop time, and we're at the Fortitude Boxing Gym in the Valley here, run by Steve Della, the Gym of Champions. Today what we're going to work on is if you're a taller fighter, and you get these fighters who bob and weave all the time, and the straight punches just don't work. So I've got my assistant, we've got the Rated R superstar, Natalia Robinson. She's going to help us today. She's a tall lady and not too bad on the eye either. And there she is, Natalia. Now don't let this lady's good looks fool you. She's a stone cold killer, and she's got ice water running through her veins. Now what we're going to work on today is when you're as tall as Natalie is and the weight that she's at. A lot of the girls are going to be a little bit shorter than her, and sometimes just using the straight punches don't work because they bob and weave and they're getting inside, hitting your rib cage. So what we're going to do is work on a few punches to change that angle. I'll get the focus mitts on, then Natalia's going to throw them, and what this combination we're going to use. We're going to start off with a punch that comes on a 45-degree angle, because you get these shorter fighters and they bob and weave and the straight punches aren't working. So if I'm a little bit shorter than that and she's throwing straight punches at me, I'm out of the way all the time like this. I'm hitting her on the inside. She goes for that hook, hit her that way. Okay, she comes in over the top, there's your hook there. Now what's happening, Natalia's got to come up with a different game plan, because these bobbing and weavers, the straight punches aren't working. So what we're going to do, and this is a technique that the great boxers like Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, Australians Anthony Mundine, they can all use. They throw their first punch on a 45-degree angle. So as my opponent's coming in, the punch actually is a cross between a hook and a body rip. You just come in, you hit on that 45-degree angle, and you come back with that right hand. It's that simple to start with, okay? That's all we're going to do for a start. But to finish this combination off, what I'll have Natalia do, she's going to come in with a 45-degree angle on that left hand, because they're bobbing and weaving, you catch them, the right hand goes that way. You grab like this behind you. Now what we're going to do, you're going to see how off balance I am, so my right leg isn't going to work, and my left one's not going to work there because I'm leaning backwards. So once we grab, we switch, one knee there, switch, bang, there's your second knee. And it's a very effective technique, and it's a good one to use. We can use the 45-degree shot off the right hand, which we're going to practice too, because that's going to come in 45 degrees, left hook, right hand, grab knee. Okay, so it should work pretty well. I'll put the pads on and we'll give Natalia a go at it. Okay, we're going to give Natalia a chance to throw these combinations. We'll start off slow, just so you can get the technique right, and then we're going to let Natalia go a little bit quicker on it, and you can see the damaging style that she uses. And Natalia, we'll just work nice and slow. We'll just work that left 45 right hand, like that. You're going to notice when she throws that 45, every time she throws that right hand, she rolls that wrist and shoulder into it. That way you hit with a bit of downward pressure, and you get a lot more reach in your punch. If she just throws that right hand without pivoting into it, the punch goes to there. But you watch the difference when she rolls the wrist, like that. And that is a big trick to boxing, which a lot of people don't realise or just are too lazy to learn. You can see the power that Natalia generates in the knees. Now, I might look like the luckiest man in Australia, but believe me, those knees hurt. And what she's doing right, instead of just coming in there and kneeing that way and being off balance, once she's grabbed, she's switched and just driven that knee and dragged me into the knee as well. Switches again and knees that way. It's a very good finishing move, very good for debilitating your opponents. If you're lucky, you can crack a rib with it too. Natalia happens to be a very good puncher and a very good grappler as well. I hope you enjoyed today's gym segment. Natalia actually got the technique right the first time, but I thought it was necessary to go through to take another 14 times just to be on the safe side.
This program's brought to you by Outfox, with hundreds of free channels covering sports, entertainment, news and more. All at outfox.tv.
Now to the red corner, Grease Lightning.
There he is, and he's got the colour in the hair as well.
Mr. Reese Lightning. Reese has a fight on April the 12th at Destiny, which is at the Beanley Arena. Reese, would you like to tell us who you matched up with and where the card is?
Yeah, I'm rematching Taylor Harvey on Chris Johnson's show for the WBC Queensland title. Yeah, the first round was a good one. He gave me my scar up here. So yeah, looking to repay the favour just a little bit.
You've had some big fights, obviously, for Taylor, FB4, who's a very tough man, and your world title win, which incidentally was on Ian's show here, last year against Stephen Dale, and that was a good fight to watch.
They've only been on the scene for 4 years, and they've already got their first boy fighting for a world amateur title.
Absolutely. And you know, this is what our sport's all about, Ian, isn't it? You know,
look at him
we're
go.
giving a young guy. Look at them, and they're calling each other on, and they're going for it. The crowd are standing up here at the Logan on Metro. They're on their feet as these two warriors absolutely go for it like you wouldn't believe. The big right hands, the skills. He's sound in his defence, Steve Dale.
Entertaining fight.
And he's great in his attack.
Love it.
What tremendous.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my highlights of my career, was fighting Stephen Dale for that amateur world title on Ian's show. It was a tough one, it was a tough lead up, but walked out victorious on the night. It was very hard fighter, very strong bloke, kept coming. Everything he said he was going to do, he done it and delivered it. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, Steve definitely went out on the shield that night, and that was a fantastic fight. You were training with Scott Moss at the time from the Modern Warriors. You're training with Phil Bennett now, is that right, from the Angel Gym?
Yeah, training with Phil now, down there in Angel Gym in Dubbo. Just as a fighter, I got it, like all fighters and trainers, you yourself has told me, you got to kind of treat it like a recipe. If you're a chef, you don't just learn just from Jamie Oliver, you'll go Jamie Oliver and whatever that angry guy is, Gordon Ramsay, you learn off of both of them. Yeah, so that's all I had to do. Was we just reached a point where I needed to do some new tricks. Scott's still an awesome trainer, and that I've got nothing but respect for him. He helped me get on the shows, helped build me up through Ian's promotions, and yeah, now we just went our separate ways, but yeah, we're still good mates.
Just before we go today, I'd like to give our interstate and especially our overseas viewers something they've never seen before, and it's tag team kickboxing. Two men on each side, the action's faster and it's more heavily paced. Ian, you've been in tag team matches before, one with me up at Toowoomba in the tents, and I've been in quite a few, actually the very first one, which was going okay until Brian Murphy decided breaking my nose was a great idea. But aside from that, it was a pretty successful night. Have you ever thought of putting some more tag team matches on your show?
Yeah, mate, I will do. They're a little hard to organise, obviously because you got 4 people, so. But yeah, it's something that's in the pipeline. I'm trying to get one off the ground with just trainers like the previous one when Scotty Bennett got introduced in the Hall of Fame. I think the concept works well if you got old overweight trainers doing it because they get a rest and you get to see them at their best.
That suits me then. Yeah, Reece, being a young fellow watching the action here, you'd probably be pretty keen to get in there with a few blokes yourself, I'd imagine. A bit of action like that.
Yeah.
Not talking your sexual preference, mate.
Yeah, no. It was a discussion that we've had, not with the boys though, obviously, but yeah, watching it, I was like, yeah, I was keen. Then I just seen how much of an angry man Gilby is when he comes out.
Well, Reece, if you had a head like Gilby's, you'd be pretty angry too. But you have a look at the fight between him and Dave in this tag team match. There was a bit of history before him, and it really showed in this match. Those two boys really went after each other.
Yeah, they're always angry and heated, and when you've got a bit of history or past with someone as a fighter, I know myself, I've got a bit of history with a few fighters. As soon as you step in that ring and you hear that bell go off, you're like, yeah, let's throw down. Doesn't matter if it's a tag team or not. So yeah, they are fun, and with the rest period, it would be a lot better to have a crack at.
Yeah, certainly excellent in that respect, because you get the break between rounds as well as during the round. And it just keeps the pace of the fight a lot quicker. You don't have to sort of conserve your energy, just go in and go for it. It's the best type of fighting there is, really. Well, that was a great show today. First of all, I'd like to thank our guests, Mr. Ian Bronson and Mr. Reece Lightning, and last but certainly not least, the incredible John Wayne Parr. Don't forget this weekend, plenty of Muay Thai action at Rumble at the Ridge. At Acacia Ridge there on March the 15th. The following day we go to the Irish Club for professional boxing, where Hurricane Hogan defends his Australian title. And make sure you tune in next week as we go to the Iron Fist Gym to see how they do things, and we're going to talk to Michael Tomahawk Thompson. Tomahawk's got a fight coming up in the US of A, and he's going to tell us all about it. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Any suggestions that you people want to put in about our show to help us improve, we're more than happy to hear them. Until next week, adios.